Some of you might hate me for what I'm about to say, but Nebraska is still a playoff contender. I know we had some lows last weekend and it felt like the sky was falling, but all it takes is one win against a reasonably good, decent opponent, and you're right back in the thick of it. How can you not be excited after watching Nebraska overcome Northwestern, who's 5-2, overcome their own mistakes, which, we've seen them have to overcome pretty much every single week this season, and overcome the refs who tried to swing momentum so much that Nebraska damn near lost that game outright. Wow. It took a lot to get it done, but thank God they're right back in it. How can you not be excited? Nebraska's 6-2. Nebraska's knocking on the door of the AP poll once again. Nebraska's hosting the last really good team on their schedule next week at home, under the lights, special jerseys, special circumstances. They have a chance to make a real move before they go into their last 3 games of the season, where they might be the favorite in every single one. Just let it sink in. Meltdown last week, 8 days, a lot can change. 1 game, a lot can change. Shout out special teams. Nebraska does not win that game without Kenneth Williams in the kick return. Shout out Emmett Johnson. Nebraska does not win that game without Emmett going for over 100 yards rushing. Shout out Isaiah Hunter. Oh my God. Undisputed best receiver on Nebraska's record. Undisputed, gonna get paid next year. I mean, he's already getting paid, but I'll tell you what, they're gonna have to double down, because that is a star player that Nebraska has. Every single week he does something. This week it was the touchdown with the toe tap. Again, I love that Nebraska has the talent to win every single game they play in, right? They have it. It's just, at what point does it all come together? Today it all came together. Will it all come together next week? We pray it does. But I mean, it was an abysmal performance at times. You watch Dylan with the interception and you're like, what the hell was that? But then you watch plays like Isaiah Mosey where he runs for a first down. And it's like, oh, Nebraska does have life at the running back position, right? So you have the ebbs and flows of the game. There are positives, there are negatives. But at the end of the day, Nebraska won that game by 7 points. Their offense scored 21. And they survived in advance. You keep your hopes alive. Marcus, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member and for the $10 super chat. He says another close game. But guess what, Connor? They came out and fought and never quit. I forgive you for calling my comment retarded the other night. LOL, love you, GVR. Hey, I'm happy you forgive me, Marcus. Thank you that we're on the same page. The bottom line is Nebraska won, and we're all happy that they're bowl eligible now. It's not just that they're bowl eligible. It's that they got bowl eligible, and it wasn't a sweat to get there, right? They got bowl eligible, and they have room to do more than just make it to a no-name bowl game. How nice is it that they're playing meaningful football in October, and they're going to be playing meaningful football all the way into November? It feels freaking good. Bands, thank you for the $10 super chat. Good win. 2 takeaways. Need to have DBs covering short routes over the middle, and Dana needs to stick to the run when it works. I saw improvement. Let's get better next week. I felt like today was a really good balance of run and pass, to be honest with you, Bands. I don't think that they didn't run it enough. Let's look at the stat line. I mean, I didn't even link my screen share. Give me 1 sec so I can link my screen share. I want you guys to be able to see it. Bang, window capture. There it is. Okay. Nebraska had 39 rush attempts. 3 of those were for Dylan. I think 2 were probably for loss. But anyway, the point is Emmett carried 27 times. You had Ja'Cory on the sweeps 3 times, Isaiah Mosey. They ran it a lot. Receiving or passing, 22 attempts, 16 catches. I felt like we had a good split. Anyway, I like what Dana did. I like the play calling. That wasn't where you point fingers today. And it's the first time in a while we can say that, because most of the time we're pointing fingers at the offensive play calling being so bad. In regards to your comment about the DBs, DBs got to step up. Andrew Marshall got beat a couple times. But yeah, what it seems like is Nebraska gives a lot up underneath usually, right? The crossing routes, the short stuff. And they're more of a bend don't break, and today it worked in most cases. One of the break plays was when they had that stupid run off to the right side when it was, I think, 3rd and 1, and Nebraska just kind of got lost. The defensive line and the linebackers got lost, guy popped out. So it didn't feel like there were that many big plays. They did a pretty good job. I'm happy with the way the D played. Saray, thank you for the $2 super chat. She says refs did everything to keep Northwestern in the game. 6-2 GBR. They need to be investigated. Refs need to be held accountable. Refs are I don't know. They're not talked about, like they're not talked to enough by, I guess, their bosses or whoever the commissioner is of the league, because they continue to make egregious calls and they don't pay attention to the details that matter. I watched the ACC game last night. It was Cal and Virginia Tech, and you listen to the exact reasoning behind every single call. So maybe if we had more transparency, and maybe if the Big Ten implemented that exact same strategy where they show on the screen the back end officials talking to the ref on the field and why they're coming to the conclusion of what they're doing on that call, I would feel a lot more comfortable with it. Please, someone explain to me how you give Northwestern a first down when the guy clearly bobbled it and was a yard short after he fully had possession. It made no sense. What league official is going to come on TV and explain that to me? Or at what point do the refs get fired for negligence and not doing their job the right way? I would get fired at my job if I wasn't doing what I was expected to do. Why doesn't he? With millions of dollars on the line on every single one of these games. It's so frustrating. Okay. Noah, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, this team is trying to kill my blood pressure. Every week's a sweat. Like Matt Rule says, every week in the Big Ten's a battle. Every game's freaking tough. Unfortunately, from here on out, they're all going to be the exact same way. Nebraska's not in a position where they're going to cruise to a win for the rest of the season. So get ready, try and calm yourself, but enjoy a freaking fight. The only team who Nebraska could seriously outmatch is UCLA. That's the only one. UCLA got exposed today. You know, they've played some really good situational spot football against other teams, and it's made them look a lot better than they actually are. UCLA is still similar to a Northwestern in terms of talent and potential to beat Nebraska. So I'm optimistic about that game, although it's going to be a funny situation coming off these back-to-back home and going all the way out to LA. But my point is, every single game is going to be a fight. So get ready. Blood pressure is going to be high. Take some meds. David, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Another gutsy, tough win, GBR. I'm 64, and I've got my Black Husker shirt ready for next week's blackout game. David, I cannot wait for that freaking game. By the way, anyone with comments about people not wearing black, you are out of your mind. Everyone, no matter how old they are, no matter what color shirts they've got for Nebraska gear, they will be like already. They're going to be in black next week. Everyone's going to be. This whole paranoia on Twitter is ridiculous. I cannot wait to see the entire stadium wearing black. It's going to be so freaking awesome to see it. CJ Bunker says Nebraska's playoff chances just went through the roof today. Cannot wait to see them in the playoff for the first time. I'm right there with you, CJ. I'm glad that you're as optimistic as I am. You're always a big supporter of our channel and a big supporter of Nebraska. So thank you for being here. Chase, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $10 super chat. The wild inconsistencies get me. Sometimes it looks like nothing can stop us. Other times it looks like nothing works. But when it clicks, it's so good. So happy we got the win and bowl eligible already. Chase, it's nice to be bowl eligible and to have that behind you. You know, you can just play free and clear. You're playing for more. You're playing because you want to win, not because you feel like you have to. Because if you don't win, your coach is on the hot seat. You could get demoted. There's all of the baggage that comes with not being a bowl team is out the door. 6-2 already. The next game they're playing for their position back in the college football playoff rankings. I mean, let's rock. It's an exciting time, Chase. Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you for being a member. He says, ugly wins are still wins. Let's make the USC game a record-breaking loud environment. Hey, could you imagine what the environment would have been like next week had they have lost today? It would have been good. It would have been positive. I'm sure people would have been amped up for it, but it would not have been what it's going to be now that Nebraska's 6-2. I'm telling you, hype is going to be at an all-time high. We're bought back in. We believe because we watched Nebraska perform at the highest level today at moments, and we know when they perform at the highest level, when their best players execute, their best players being guys who are going to play in the NFL one day, their best players being guys who are at the top of the Big Ten in terms of their performance potential, right? When they get it to click, when they come together, and when they don't shoot themselves in the head multiple times, they can beat anybody. Next week's going to be massive. I cannot freaking wait. Lethargic says, O-line looked competent. You know, Elijah Pritchett looked competent. There was a couple moments where I think the right tackle slipped up. They put in Corcoran to come in for him. The offensive line did not get abused the way they did last week. How many sacks, really quick? Let's just check on that. I've not looked at this stat line since I turned this on. Nebraska was only sacked one time. Freaking awesome. Big improvement from last week where they took 9. Jim, thank you for the 1062. He says 1-0, 6-2. Overjoyed at no quit attitude. Good to see you finally without that cloud over your head, GBR. It's nice to be able to sit here after a win and be excited and happy, and the rest of my day isn't ruined, right? I don't need to feel like I need to go drink it away. We're having a good time at 6-2. Nebraska's doing something that we expect them to do, which was win the games they're supposed to. They didn't cover. Coulda, shoulda. Probably would have with a different ref, right? That didn't jam them up and switch the momentum that much. But, you know, good teams win, great teams beat the ref and Northwestern at the exact same time. So thank God it went the way it did. Tyler, thank you for being a member of the Corn Craze Army. I appreciate you joining. Scott, thank you for the $50 super chat. He says, I know we already have mostly the same views, so I love what you're saying, but we lost to USC if Lemon is active, but we lose to USC if Lemon is active, but can still win 8 or 9 games. Look, Nebraska has just as good of a shot to beat USC as they have to lose to them. The momentum that they have right now going into that game, the way Nebraska's played up to the level of their competition, like we saw them do against Maryland and Michigan, Maryland at times, right? Specifically towards the end of the game when they actually were able to close it out. They have the potential to beat USC. USC has the same issues that Nebraska has. A lot of talent, some coaching problems. They're in year 5 of their rebuild, I believe, or year 4, and they have the exact same play calling issues, the game management issues. So USC is not the dominant force that people want to make them out to be. They have great athletes. They have really good skill guys, but they are beatable 100%. I am optimistic, Scott. I know, I understand that you don't want to get too hyped up or bought in, and I'm not going to force you to, but I'm excited about next week because I know what the potential is. But we're not here to talk about next week. We're here to talk about 6-2. We're here to talk about Nebraska getting bowl eligible. We're here to talk about Nebraska doing what they were supposed to and making us all happy with the idea that we don't have to sit here and say what could have been this season. This is a season that's going to keep going strong and not a lost one like it has been so many times before. Dave, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the 28-21. He says, much better performance. Officiating was awful and holding was equally uncalled all the game. I'll take the W. Hope is 50% restored. Only 50? I would have thought it's at least 60. I'm probably like 65% restored. He says it'll be pre-mini restored if we upset USC. Okay, if they upset USC, I'm losing my freaking mind. So it's 110% if they beat USC. Got NU plus 4.5 on DraftKings right before the game. What'd you do? You took an alternate line at like minus 750. Damn, Dave, I hope that wasn't a parlay so you didn't have to eat a lot of juice. But, hopefully you put $7,500 on it and picked up 1,000. Tyler, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, let's go 1-0. Stop the BS if we're not good. I don't know what that part means, but yes, let's go 1-0 next week. That's all that matters. They focused in and locked in on 1-0 this week, and that's what got it done, Doug, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, I'm in Phoenix till tomorrow. I came for a wedding. We should grab a drink or something. Better game than recent. That's awesome, Doug. It's really nice out here. I don't know what my plan is today. You can message me on Discord or Instagram. Maybe I'll pop out to Old Town or something. Let me know where you're at. Yeah, I'm happy that I get to watch the rest of these football games today and not sit here moping about Nebraska losing me, $600 and moping that Nebraska lost the game they were supposed to win. It's really nice to be able to enjoy a full day of college football with a Nebraska win under the belt. And I think you guys are all on the same page. What happened in that Ole Miss game really quick? Ole Miss is up 8. OU's on their own 17. It looks like Ole Miss is going to win that game. I really wanted to see Ole Miss overcome. Looks like they're going to. Freaking awesome. Go Ole Miss. Yeah, so I get the teams I want to win today already 2-0. I'm excited about A&M tonight. I'm excited about Vandy today. Just so much good football. It's so nice to be able to root for these other teams when I'm already knowing my team got it done. Danny, thank you for becoming part of the Corn Craze Army. I appreciate the support. N54Os, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, we won ugly in a pivotal game that we lose in the past. There's something to be said about that with last week feeling like relapse to our old self. So let's speak on that for a moment, brother. You go to Nebraska's schedule. I'm pulling it up right now. So how many times have we made that comment you just did this year, right? Cincinnati, we lose that game in the past. Michigan State, probably lose that game in the past. Maryland, absolutely lose that game in the past. Northwestern, lose that game in the past. 4 times Nebraska has overcome and said, we are not the same team that we have been. We are done being that team who shoots themselves, loses confidence, and can't find a way to get it done. Look at the rest of this schedule. How can you not be excited? USC, I'm telling you, USC is Nebraska. By the way, I picked USC's record before the season. I said they were going 8-4 and I marked down every single game they would win and lose. I've been spot on correct every single time. I said USC will lose to Nebraska next week. That would put me at 7-0 on picks on USC. We'll see if it happens. But my point in saying this is that's the toughest game left on the schedule. Then you've got this little road trip gauntlet. That's really tough, going all the way to LA, all the way to Happy Valley. But neither of those two teams right now are better than Nebraska when Nebraska's playing their best. And then Iowa is a straight 50-50 dogfight. Thank God they got them at home. It's an exciting time. If they get over the same BS, right? In theory, they finally would beat Iowa. In theory, they should be able to take down UCLA since they're the better team. There's a lot to be excited about when we see that this team is no longer the nonsensical team that's carrying all that weight and those issues that they were in the past. I'm freaking hyped up, man. This is exciting. Let's see. Abrupt. Yeah, Sean says, also just now learned what an abrupt line movement was. What a BS rule. Yeah, there's all kinds of little things we see in these games with all the refs and their calls. I hear something new every day, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Scott, thank you for the $50 super chat. He says, what does Kawan Lacey do to this team had he stayed with us? I mean, he's one of the best running backs in the SEC. If you look at what his yards were today against Oklahoma, he's at 27 carries for 79 yards. He's not a power back. He's more balanced. He's 5'11", 200. If Nebraska had a running back like that to pair with Emmett Johnson, they would have a dominant rushing force. The only thing I would say about that is Nebraska's issue, partially, is their offensive line. How good would the offensive line hold up if they had to run as often as Nebraska would want to with two star running backs in a guy like Lacey and an Emmett Johnson? I don't know. Emmett is so good at making the most out of what's in front of him, right? Emmett, there was a play today where it looked like Emmett was dead to rights, and he was able to juke and shift and get up for a first down or get close to the first down line. I can't remember what the exact situation was, but I was like, man, he's so good. Even when the line is missing blocks or the defense is blitzing him super heavy, he can find ways to escape. So how much does that say about Emmett, and how many other running backs in the country would be able to do what he does given the circumstances? Emmett's a really good running back with, a pretty good O-line, but you wouldn't call him great. Whereas some of these great running backs that we watch around the country are working with a much stronger force in front of them. So I don't know. I'm really excited and happy that we have a guy like Emmett Johnson who can make the most of his scenarios and his situations. Rod, thank you for the 50 memberships gifted. We appreciate you a ton. I know everybody in the chat loves those. You're the man. I will see you next week. It's going to be freaking electric. At night game. I mean, this week I got a couple texts, one from my cousin, a couple from subscribers, and they were saying, man, it just feels a little bit dead. I'm afraid this could be UCLA of last year energy. It wasn't that. The team came out hot. They came out excited. They came out like they wanted to win the game. They had a hot start. I mean, let me see the box for Nebraska. I don't even remember what the score was to start it off. Nebraska, Northwestern. Yeah, Nebraska started off with a touchdown. They led at half. That was another key thing. Them leading at half made me extremely confident. How about when Javen Wright had the interception in the last 4 minutes of the game? Nebraska had given it back. Dylan threw that bad pick. And you started to think, man, is this the moment where everything's going to crumble? Nebraska's tied. Now Northwestern has the ball. This is where they're going to lose it. How gross is that? And then Nebraska's defense holds up, gets the pick, and ultimately helps Nebraska get back to winning the game. Anyway, I say all that to say, I didn't have that overwhelming feeling that said, oh my God, it's over. Because in the past, I always thought that, it's like, holy shit, we did it to ourselves again. Even when Nebraska was in a bad spot with less than 5 minutes in the game, Scott texted me and he's like, oh man, here we go. I'm like, no. It's still alive. I'm still confident because this team has proven to me 3 times before today that they actually have it in them to find ways to close it out. Thank God. Oz, thank you for becoming a member to the Corn Crazed Army. I appreciate you. Let's see. Trojan Dale says USC is going to play hard. We lost to our rival. USC is going to play like Minnesota did. Michigan did. The Michigan-Nebraska game is similar to what I'm expecting from the USC-Nebraska game next week. USC is going to fight. It's going to be an awesome environment. It's going to be a war. It's the toughest game left on Nebraska's schedule. They're going to be an underdog in that game. I mean, the only reason I'm picking Nebraska to win that game, and I'm going to be on them, is because I think the environment's going to be so special. It's almost magical, right? And there's going to be so much in the air. Nebraska hopefully comes out and plays their very best game. I think USC playing Nebraska at their best is a 50-50 toss-up. So I'm going to ride with my team in that spot. It's going to be an awesome situation, though. Chang, thank you for the Taiwanese 75. I appreciate you. He says, in my opinion, special teams, Kenneth Williams saved us today. I almost had a heart attack on Northwestern's final fourth down. Anyway, we survived a do-or-die game. I am happy. GBR. Kenneth Williams did save us today. I don't know. Was Nebraska going to score another touchdown today without that? Special teams has won Nebraska 3 games this year, right? 2 or 3, I can't remember. It was Michigan State. They won that game. Maryland, what happened in Maryland? I'm blanking. And then Northwestern. So it was either 2 or 3. Point is this. Kenneth Williams got a scholarship a couple weeks ago. He's showing why he deserved it. That guy's a sophomore, which means Nebraska's got him for the rest of this season, all next season, and the season after. Do they have a legitimate kick return threat for 3 years now? We've been waiting, and we thought it was Ja'Cory Barney, who's a solid punt returner. But Kenneth Williams, Nebraska's got 2 now. Mike Eckler, special teams coordinator of the year. The revive and the changes he's made on Nebraska special teams from the last few years till now are obviously noticeable to us. I would hope nationally people would see it and say, wow, Nebraska's actually gone from one of the worst special teams units every single year to one of the better. Eckler is a freaking stud. I know he gets a lot of respect, a lot of love. We all talk about it, but man, that guy is awesome. David May, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $20 super chat. He says, we're going at least bowling in October, GBR. If we win out, is playoffs out of the question? No, sir. A 10-2 Big Ten team is a playoff team. Now, it was out of the question when we thought there would be multiple 10-2 Big Ten teams. Penn State has fallen. USC likely has fallen. Nebraska's in the thick of it. If you go to the standings, I mean, they aren't final right now because we still have a whole day of football left. Again, David, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the support. It was great to meet you when I came for the Michigan game. But look at the Big Ten standings, okay? How many teams are alive? Technically, right? Minnesota's technically alive. They're not a playoff team. They're going to lose another game. Michigan is technically alive. I mean, I think they're going to lose another game down the stretch. I think they'll lose to Ohio State this year finally, but they're technically alive. Iowa, I don't think they're going to win out. USC's technically alive, but they've got to play Oregon still. You've only got a few teams at the top there, which means legitimately, like Illinois, Washington, they're going to lose another game. Nebraska, in theory, is going to lose another game. Whatever team comes out on top and gets to 10-2 and is up there with Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon is getting into the playoff. You're going to have 4 Big Ten teams in the playoff if you have a bunch of 10 and 11 win teams in the Big Ten. That's just the fact of the situation. Nebraska's alive, and their hopes are out there. I don't know that's going to happen, obviously, but, you know, we can all hope and we can all pray. Someone said something, I lost the chat. It says something about USC's receivers. USC has some of the best receivers in the conference. USC, I think their receivers are on par with Ohio State, just so we're all on the same page. Scott, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, if Lacey is 5'11", so am I. You know, anytime a guy says they're 5'11", I'm expecting them to be 5'9", which means if Kenneth Williams says he's 5'10", I'm expecting him to be like 5'8". It's funny how all these guys have their heights listed and it's way off every single time. Josh, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, let's go. We won the game. That's all I care about. 1-0 this week. Now focus on USC. Play calling was a lot better today, and we didn't give up GBR. You know, I was nervous about today because of the excitement for next week. I was worried about today because of the emotions coming off last week. They overcame 2 things: a bad situation they were following up on and a really interesting and intriguing matchup next week. The fact that they were able to get it done today and block out all the noise from last week and next week is really impressive. It says a lot about them. So yeah, they were locked in, went 1-0. Next week, it's all about 1-0. Beat USC. Just go 1-0. Don't worry about anything else. All that matters is get that one done. Could you imagine if they were able to? Holy shit. Dave, thank you for the $10.20 super chat. He says 10-2 is still on the table. Indiana taking UCLA to the woodshed. I mean, I think they won by 50 points. It was 56-6, right? Absolute beatdown. UCLA had a very favorable situation. They played against teams who were on the lower end of the Big Ten, right? Like lower tier. Penn State, lower tier after that loss, the way they're playing. Maryland, lower tier. I think Michigan State, lower tier. The moment they face a team with equal or better talent, Indiana has significantly better talent, they get their ass kicked. When they play against Nebraska, Nebraska has more talent across the board than they do. Nebraska should match up really well and should win that game. Tough situationally, since Nebraska is going to be coming off of a really exciting game against USC. But if they're able to go out to UCLA and win that one, Going to be very, very exciting. Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Everything's in front of them, and I think that's what's most exciting. It's really nice to be a Nebraska fan when they're winning and when everyone's still bought in that there's more to be excited about. Like we haven't peaked. Before the peak was, oh, well, let's get to a bowl game and then woo, we won. That's where we got to. Now it's let's get to a bowl game and what else can they do? There's more potential. Noah, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, heard we could have Hartzog back for the bowl game. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard something about him redshirting potentially, like a medical red shirt. I don't know. I haven't really followed up on his situation much, but hopefully he gets to play. Nebraska's, been surviving without him, but he's definitely been a loss. For anyone who was saying that that Hartzog wasn't good or hasn't been valuable, I think it's pretty clear that Nebraska could have used him this year. But hey, they've been getting it done regardless, and I've been excited. I've been excited to see the defense play just well enough to win these games. Roger says Rule is on the phone with his Happy Valley realtor. Brother, I'm not worried about that right now. I am not worried about what's going to happen with Rule in Nebraska. Last week, you know what people were saying last week? Rule's never going to be able to go to Penn State now. They would never take him, blah, 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 all the nonsense. Who cares? Moss, I've seen your comment. I don't like, what do you want me to say? Still did not cover 2-6 now on the season. I don't care. I didn't bet them this week to cover the 7.5. I took them at 4.5 or at -4.5, -6.5. I took a bunch of alt lines. I didn't take them on bro throw because I didn't trust the 7.5. But they covered for me, and that's all I cared about. A lot of people put a money line in parlays, and they covered for us, so it is what it is. Let's see. Tur says, I'm happy we won, but please quit giving us heart attacks and win soundly. It's not going to happen. It's not who we are. Nebraska is not a team that's going to come out every week and play consistently. They're still building to become that team. It's just, they aren't there yet. Someone says Memphis just beat USF. Thank God. I had Memphis plus 6.5, and I had the money line on bro throw. Love that. I think I had a plus 175 odds. So 50 would have paid like 87, something like that. I like that. Lawrence says my worst case scenario for November is 2-2 with losses to USC and either Penn State or Iowa. I could see Nebraska splitting wins at home and on the road. Yeah, I mean, that's not their worst case, unfortunately. Nebraska's worst case, and what we've learned about them, is 0-4. They could easily just have a meltdown. I am more optimistic the way they played today, and I would say their realistic worst case is 1-3. I think that's their absolute worst case. Their best case is obviously 4-0. More realistically, it's probably 3-1. But the fact that they're in position to get to 9, even 10 wins, it says a lot. The way that they lost last week to Minnesota on the road and just being so embarrassingly gross on offense when that's the strength of your team and not being able to score with them is just painful. But anyway, doesn't matter. It's exciting. They got the win, and we're happy. It's nice to be here talking to you when I'm not having a complete and utter meltdown. Like last week was so depressing for me. I know you guys were on here, and I was being really vulgar and sad and depressed. It's just, I'm happy we're not doing that this week. Timothy says, I know we're a work in progress, but how did Curt Cignetti do it in 1 year at Indiana? Curt Cignetti came from the Nick Saban tree. He was at Alabama. Then he went and coached in lower tiers, lower divisions, and he was a really good coach, apparently, because he won a lot of freaking games. He goes to James Madison, builds them back to be a really good team, and then they go, obviously, to the FBS, and I think they were in the Sun Belt. They won Sun Belt championships, and once he built that good team, he was able to bring his players over to Indiana. So you have a good coach crossed with really good players that he was able to bring over, and he was able to install his system. It didn't feel like much of a change. Indiana caught people off guard, obviously, last season. That got the ball rolling, caught some momentum. They went and got Curtis Rourke, who was a good quarterback. Then this year, after going to the playoff, they were able to compound that, right? You're able to go get Fernando Mendoza, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He was coming out of Cal. People knew that he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country at Cal. It was just he wasn't around the right players, right? He needed better receivers. He needed better offensive line, better scheme. And now that he's at Indiana, they're making the most of it. So when you have an elite quarterback, an elite coach, all of those really good players, that's like winning formula. Matt Rule didn't have that opportunity. Matt Rule came from the NFL. He brought 0 transfers in. He didn't have a staff to bring with him who was already proven. So yeah, Cignetti walked into a really good situation for himself, but really he built that situation over time. And the new era of college football with all the money and the NIL and the transfer portal being available to him set him up for this unprecedented run that, I mean, you could see it again, but coaches have to execute that plan perfectly at the right time. That was a right place, right time, right person, right situation kind of deal. And that's just not going to happen all the time, right? So Signetti, man, freaking awesome. I'm happy for Indiana. I love to see these teams. I love to see these teams who are traditionally average come out and be really good. Like Ole Miss beating OU today. Traditional powerhouse, Oklahoma, gets taken down at home by Ole Miss. By the way, shout out to Lane Kiffin, quieting the noise. My fear was that Lane Kiffin would lose today because there's all that noise about the Florida job and he's going to get this record deal and be the highest paid coach in football. I want to see Ole Miss in the playoff. How great would it be to see another, Indiana, Ole Miss, those teams who are not traditional powerhouses be there? It's so fun to watch. I love the parody. But anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that, but I'm just happy to see parity. I'm happy to see these other teams coming up, and hopefully Nebraska can get to be one of those teams because it'd be exciting to see Nebraska in the playoff. Not this year, maybe this year, but especially next. It'd be nice. Weston says, "Do you have any codes for Brothrow?" Yeah, use my code CORN, CORN, when you sign up. They're gonna give you $10 once you use that code. Brothrow.com. David, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $10 super chat. How about that kickoff return for a touchdown by Kenneth Williams? Last time we did that was J.D. Spielman in 2017. It was that long ago? My God. I can't believe it's been that long since they've had a kick return for a TD. Kenneth Williams explosive, He has some freaking legs on him. I loved watching it. I'm excited to see what Nebraska has in store the rest of the season, special teams wise. Like, are we going to see another special teams TD? At this rate, they very well could. They're not playing teams who are so elite that they're going to get stuffed or be outmatched, right? So give me another special teams TD. Give me another block. Let's see the special teams just turn it on and win another game for Nebraska. Eckler's going to get a pay raise. I mean, they got to lock his ass in. With this emphasis on special teams, it's really helped Nebraska to get to 6 because before that, they weren't able to get it done with their offense and defense alone. So it took that third unit to really step up. It's nice that they feel a lot more complete, a lot more balanced. Aware says, how many sacks were there? I couldn't watch. Nebraska didn't sack them once. Northwestern sacked Nebraska one time. Nebraska did have pressure on them plenty of times. Matt says, Connor, any thoughts on Jalen Lloyd? Just want your thoughts on that. I mean, Jalen Lloyd left Nebraska last year for Oklahoma State, goes there. He's a track star, obviously, and didn't really play there, I guess. I didn't see any stats for him on their roster. He entered the portal again this week, and who knows what happens. I'm hoping he goes to like a South Dakota State, North Dakota State, something like that, where he can really play and get an opportunity because good players need to get on the field, and he's not a Power 4 player, apparently, for whatever reason. He's super small. He was good at Nebraska at times. They found ways to weaponize him and use him and make him a threatening player. But obviously, Nebraska's got some really, really good receivers now that forced him out. And Nebraska's going to continue to build on that receiving core that they've got. So hopefully he goes to a place like South Dakota State or a strong FCS school. It'll be great for him. Noah, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you for being a member. He says, and then there's UNC and Belichick. I don't know what happened with that game. I took UNC plus 10.5 today. I'm sure they covered based on the last thing I saw. But did they win? I'm checking right now. Let's just check some scores together, man. So FBS, we've got App State kept it close with Old Dominion. I had plus 14. That's a lock to cover. Don't care about Buffalo Akron. Don't care about that. Vandy just started. Iowa State, I'm on minus 2.5. Illinois, I'm on plus 4. I'm also on money line. Iowa, I took Minnesota plus 10. These are all just starting, so that means everything else is kind of done. So let's scroll down to what finished in that afternoon slot. Memphis with the upset over South Florida. Love that. Oh, God, so glad I took money line, but wish I would have taken more. No, Arkansas lost to Auburn. I hammered Arkansas. That's crazy. Arkansas was leading most of that game too. Okay, Georgia crushes Syracuse. Ole Miss wins. Virginia beat North Carolina by 1 point. Rutgers beat Purdue. Purdue looked like they were going to win that one. Rutgers had a 13-point fourth quarter. Wow. Wake Forest. Okay, I took Wake money line too. Thank God. Took Wake money line. They beat SMU. Kansas State crushes Kansas. Yeah, so that was the morning slate. Pretty exciting day. Yeah, I mean, I wish Belichick would have beaten Virginia. Just more excitement in college football to see upsets, Lawrence says that kickoff return was beautiful. Honestly, that was one great response to the third quarter, especially since those quarters have been poor throughout the season. Yeah, for Nebraska to come out fiery like that and play so hot and score right out the gate, it's like, Jesus. It just takes so much pressure off the offense who's been, up and down. Jesse says, just woke up. I worked the night shift last night, work again tonight and missed the game. What's the vibe? I'm going to give you the very short the elevator pitch on the vibe, okay? Vibe is this. Nebraska found a way to win a game that they could have potentially lost and would have lost in the past. Nebraska came out hot. Northwestern really wanted it. The refs had some moments where we had to question them, but it was all good. When it was said and done, Nebraska came out on top because they were the slightly better team. They were more complete in all aspects of the game. Northwestern's quarterback wasn't as good as Dylan Raiola when he had to face pressure. Northwestern's skill players weren't as good as Nebraska's. The Northwestern guys took advantage of some mistakes by Nebraska's D, and they were able to keep it closer than they should have. Nebraska should have covered and won probably by 10 points, but a win's a win, and that's all that matters. The vibe is we're all excited, we're hopeful, we're optimistic about what's going to happen in the future. They're bowl eligible. They're 6-2, and it's not even the end of October yet. It's not even Halloween yet. Next week, USC comes to town, and all bets are off on what could happen. It's a 50-50 in my head. Nebraska could beat those guys, and if they do, oh my God, you're talking back in playoff conversation, back in the AP poll, the college football playoff poll. It's an exciting time, Jesse. You missed it, but it's all good. You're here now. I'd go watch some highlights. It was an exciting game, and yeah, the guys got it done. That's what matters. Scott, thank you again for firing the $50 super chat. He says LSU's winning tonight. USC game will go over the top. So are you going to be there, Scott, for that USC game, or are you going to sit in the parking lot and tailgate? I hope you're going in the stadium. There are some games that are just so special, so magical that you have to attend them. I would say the USC game is that. I wasn't going to go to it this year. I love watching games on TV. I was excited to watch that one on TV, but knowing that that's going to be the first ever blackout, and who knows when the next one's coming, and it's at night, and it's two teams who I have a lot of affection for. I had to be there. I couldn't miss it, so I hope you'll be there too. LSU winning tonight. I can't bet you on that, brother. I'm taking A&M. Please go pick up my action on Brothrow. It hasn't been accepted yet, I don't think. I'm on A&M money line, so if you want my action, it's there and it's available for you. Yeah, A&M is just too good. Caleb says, do we want Minnesota or Iowa to lose? We want Minnesota to lose. Get them to their third loss. Iowa, I'd rather have them be better and have Nebraska have a chance to knock them off at home. The better a team is when Nebraska plays them, usually Nebraska's going to play up to that level. And the worse a team is, Nebraska's going to play down to it. So I'd prefer Iowa's at full strength and looks really good, top 25 team, so that Nebraska's extremely amped up and motivated to win that game. I always want the next team we're playing to have the better record. So we want Iowa to win. Minnesota can be taken down. Let's go. Let's see. No Big Deal says Northwestern beat us in every aspect of the game besides special teams and turnovers. I don't believe that to be true. That's not the game I watched. Let's just pull up the box score and see. Maybe they rushed for more yards. Is that what you're talking about? They passed for more yards? Let's see. Northwestern outrushed Nebraska by 20. They outpassed Nebraska by 15. Yeah. I still didn't look at it. That's not the way I viewed the game. When I was watching it, Nebraska got a lot of pressure on their quarterback and threw him into some funny situations where he couldn't get the ball to his guys. You saw a lot of missed throws on his end. Nebraska's quarterback was much more accurate, 16 of 22 versus theirs, who was 15 of 29. I don't think that they won in every aspect of the game. I think they won if you go head-to-head on run game. Like, they had a much better run game than Nebraska did today. Their running back averaged what? Geez, I can't even tell what he averaged, but I know he ran 17 times for 125. Wow. They didn't win in every aspect of the game, and they didn't win on the final scoreboard. That's what matters to me. Ben says North Texas quarterback threw for 600 yards last night. Crazy. That was an awesome game to watch. It was a battle all the way in the first half. It looked like Charlotte could upset those guys, and then wheels fell off. North Texas went crazy. Dude got to like 608 yards or something like that, or 607. I don't remember what it was, but record-breaking performance. And it could have been more. The receiver dropped a touchdown early in the game, like a 50-something yarder down the sideline. Crazy. Let's see. Nebraska and Kansas says interceptions killed the Arkansas game at the end. So unfortunate. I was so hyped about Arkansas. How much did Arkansas lose by? Was it 9? God, I wanted them to win so bad. Where is it? I just want to check this really quick just so I'm aware, because I had some parlays with them, plus 7.5, plus 9.5. They lost by 9.5, or they lost by 9. So I'll cover in some, but I got smoked on that. Kyle says fans actually bitching after a win. Y'all are an embarrassment. I hate this fan base. You and I are reading two different chats, brother. I don't see a bunch of bitching. Most people are pretty optimistic and happy with how Nebraska did. Moss says, what stat did Nebraska lead in? None. They didn't lead in any stat category, I don't think. Let's see. They lead in tackles for loss, maybe. I don't even need to look. It doesn't matter to me. Moss, you look for issues. You love to look for problems and be negative. There are some people who love to just troll in the chat, and you are one of them. Okay. Craig says like 70,000 per people in that stadium. Couldn't care less for lines, betting, just winning and support. Betting is on you. I don't know what we're talking about. 70,000 people in what stadium? Um, fuck betting lines. You guys are funny. Betting lines tell you a lot about talent and what teams should win. It's an interesting thing to point to and learn about. But anyway, J Max, thank you for the $5 super chat. Connor, again, Husker Nation loves you. Your content and perspectives are top notch. Corn Craze is one of the best channels on earth. Go Big Red. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the support. You're the man. I make this content for guys like you who actually appreciate it. So thank you for watching. Scott, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, go Iowa State. I'm in Vegas next weekend. You know this, man. Iowa State has got to get it done today for me. After that Arkansas loss, I had a lot on Arkansas. I need Iowa State to do it for me, please. Craig says Moss is copy and paste. Yeah, someone, I don't know who my moderators are. Like a moderator could put him in timeout. I need to add moderators. Message me if you're in this chat regularly and I'll make you a moderator. Message me on Discord, Instagram, Twitter, if you want to be a moderator and block people who are trolling too much. And yeah, I'll give you that power so that we don't have people trolling and spamming chat. Connor, what's your take on UCLA getting blown out by Indiana? It's very simple. UCLA is the same team we thought they were going to be this year, which was at best, borderline bowl team in terms of talent. They have a really good quarterback. They have some other good players, but it wasn't going to all come in sync, and UCLA wasn't going to be a great team this year. They got a lot of hype because they won some games that were situationally bad for their opponents. That didn't make them any better than we thought they were going to be. They were still, going to compete at like a 6-win type of level. So UCLA getting their ass kicked by one of the top 3 teams in the country makes sense. They were going on a long road trip. That team obviously took them seriously, wanted to bury them. UCLA isn't all that good. UCLA should lose to Nebraska. That should be like a 4.5-point spread, Nebraska's favor, maybe even more. And yeah, I don't think too much about UCLA. They're at best a 6-win team this year. So yeah, UCLA isn't even on my radar. And yeah, hopefully they can get to a bowl game and their coach can get hired as their coach, because I think that's a fun story. But outside of that, I don't really think it matters. Do you think we could go 3-1 over the next 4 games? Yeah, I think there's a really good chance of that. It'll be really tough. They're gonna have to fight, but yeah, 100% they could. Let's see. Saray says, hope to see you at my dad's tailgate next week, driving 13 hours to go to the game. That's a crazy drive, man. I don't know how you're doing that. I couldn't do that type of drive. I do 5-hour drives once in a while, but ooh. Jackson, message me. You could be a mod. Moss says, why would I ban you? I'd block you because you troll and you say the same thing 6 freaking times. If you say the same thing over and over and over and spam the chat, it pisses people off. Spamming is when you repost shit over and over and over. That's what spamming is. I don't know what you don't get about that. Let's see. Indiana's the real number 1. I don't know, man. We're going to learn a lot about Indiana when they play against Ohio State, right? GBR14, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, are you going to the bowl game, whatever it is? No. I would go to the bowl game. Obviously, if it was a playoff game, I'd go. I would go to the bowl game if it was in Las Vegas. I would also go to the bowl game if it was in Phoenix, because those make sense for me to go to. I would go to the bowl game if it was like a big one, like the Rose Bowl or something like that, which is a playoff. So yeah, for me to go to a bowl game and get motivated, I'd have to be Las Vegas because my dad's got a house there. Phoenix because I live here. The playoff, no matter what stadium they played in, most likely. I really think that's it. Yeah, I really think that's it. Those would be the only ones that make sense. EJ's up to 837 rush yards on the season. Yeah, that's freaking great. I love EJ. He's carrying that backfield. The fact that he ran for 125 yards today was massive. Dave, thank you for gifting the 10 Corn Craze Army memberships. We appreciate you and support always. Randy says, my wife and I are driving to the game next weekend from Arizona. What a drive, man. I'm flying to the game next weekend from Arizona. But it's going to be awesome. I'm glad you're getting to go. It's going to be such an amazing experience. Everybody blacked out. Are you kidding me? I'm already amped up for next week, and we're a whole 7 days away. Let's see. Liam says they keep running up the score like they don't need to preserve their athletes. Let's see what ended up happening in that game. Let's go to the IU box score, just so because none of us watched that game today. So we'll look. Alberto Mendoza's their backup quarterback. I didn't know that. That's hilarious. Fernando and Alberto. That's just awesome. I love it. Okay. They ran their backup running backs here a little bit. They've got a 2-back set here. They had a lot of receivers play. I don't know. Did they really? Looks like they got a lot of guys in the game. So I don't know if they're burning out their players. But, Indiana's going to be Indiana. They're setting a precedent that we are the best team in the country, and we're going to fight in every single game we play in. And I respect that. And that's part of the reason Siggs is such a good coach, right? They are dominant, and they make sure that people know about it. He's taking that mentality of like the 94 Nebraska team, the 95 Nebraska team, where we're going to kick your ass in every single game, never let up, and we're going to make sure you know who we are. So that's just the standard they play to. There is no we need to rest our guys or we need to take our foot off the gas. No, it's foot on your face, and we're not stopping. That's why he's going to win a championship in Indiana. So you do what you got to do. I'm not going to knock a coach or their style because they're winning games. You know what I mean? By too much. That's absolutely ridiculous. I dream of a day where Nebraska does that. Dream of it. Scott, thank you for the $20 super chat. Let's hope for a Southwest Bowl game. Stupid Tampa Bay. Wait, Southwest Bowl game is, yeah, okay, that's what the SW is. Stupid Tampa Bay. Is that what you're saying, Tampa Bay? I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't know what you mean, Tampa Bay. Is there a bowl game in Tampa? Or is TB standing for something else? I don't know, Scott. You have to text me and explain it. Nebraska and Kansas says going to be in Lincoln for the USC game. Can't wait. Going to be awesome. GBR and TTB. Don't know what TTB is. Oh, throw the bones. Got you. Throw the bones. I like that. Yeah, man. It's going to be exciting next weekend. I'm freaking pumped. Well, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go watch football because I'm freaking lit up with excitement right now about Nebraska winning their game and getting to a bowl. And I cannot wait to watch some of my other ones like Cincinnati money line. I got South Carolina in action, Iowa State. It's going to be freaking awesome. Craig says it's one of his lifetime checkmark boxes is to go to a Nebraska night game. Yeah, next week's going to be freaking lit. Anyway, with all of that said, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for celebrating the win with me. I cannot wait to talk about the USC matchup this week. You guys know I have an affinity for USC too. So big week ahead. Cannot wait. I will talk to you soon. Yeah, so see you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Go Big Red.